Right now, we're entering into the first quarter of 2026, and the first month is we're halfway through. We're at the midpoint of the actual month. So I wanted to talk about the things that we are likely to approach along this journey of the first quarter and just in general in 2026. 2026 is a 10-year, and it is rooted in Aries energy, and it is also the fire horse, fire horse year. And I wanted to actually get into what the concept is behind expansion, rewriting your story. And I did post a video on my TikTok account, and we were discussing how certain versions of who you've been in the years before helped prepare you on who you are now, and to highlight what kind of mindset you had to embody in order to get through those times will help you narrate the coming days and months ahead of you. So we are going to be discussing how your point of view matters. Your point of view is going to be that thing that gives you the hidden dialogue. We actually have our introductory to the imprinted empire, starting off with hidden dialogues. Yes, hidden dialogues is not supposed to be plural. However, through your birth chart, we use the framework of the dodecahedron. That is a actual figure in physics, where we pretty much discuss how each side of the figure is a representation of the 12 houses in astrology. And this is how you can kind of pay attention to the life cycles that are going on in the background of your birth chart. And this is how we can kind of signify like who you are and when these personas show up in your life and how you can improve them personally and individually. So we're working on personal goals, collaborations that you want to embody, and actually go through with like the preparation of any industry collaborations or anything that you plan to do in the future. So your personal improvements, your collaborations, and your career goals. So the life cycle is going to be used through your mood boards, and we are going to go through that workshop later on. But I just want to discuss how the fire horse and the the Aries energy is going to be utilized throughout each one of the quarters of the year. You're going to go through variations of Aries energy, the starter, the initiator, and the actual embodiment of self is going to look like what that's going to look like in the fourth quarter. So, preparing milestones for 2026, I want to start off by saying that who you identify with is going to go through phases, and what that looks like for you is going to be different from what you're expecting. So in hidden dialogues, we have unconscious agreements, expectation, the mindset, and the transformation. And the transformation entirely is going to go through phases. So that's the reason why it's going to be called hidden, because you don't know exactly what phase you're in until you've reached a level of success with whatever you were trying to accomplish. So the amount of energy that you put forth and the execution style and operation that you go through to get to your goal is going to embody a specific amount of personality traits. And each one of your placements in the birth chart is going to represent a house. So you have a couple of planets in one house, and that's called a stellium. And wherever you have that in your chart is going to embody the most prominent energy. That's going to be dominant energy. Like you could have Scorpio energy. You're going to be very comfortable with transformation, or you need to get comfortable with transformation. So we're going through those themes, going through that through the hidden dialogue. So the expectation is what is going to have to dissolve in this 10-year. Your expectations aren't going to be exactly what you think. I don't want to say it's not going to happen, because that's not for me to actually say. However, what I do know is it's going to be altered. Your expectations, it's not going to go exactly like that. It could get exactly like that, but it's going to be executed in a different way than what you plan out. And you would have to go with the flow with that, and embody the mutable energy along with being an Aries energy. And that is where the tension comes and a lot of resistance. So in Aries energy for this 10-year, we're going to be looking at over-functioning archetypes that are within our birth chart. And this is how personal curriculum can help you navigate these themes and you go through these stelliums, once you know exactly what dominant is within your birth chart, you're able to understand exactly how to execute your goals. So when it comes to your process and what you're going to be utilizing in order to get through your milestones, you want to know what energy you're working with. So when you look through your houses and you have multiple placements in one house, and that's being the stellium, the archetype of that house, it's going to be either a mutable, cardinal, or fixed sign. And one of those elements are going to represent the nature of your personality, and that is the energy that you want to work with. You want to nurture it, you want to improve it, and these are how you find out what over functioning archetypes are being used through the way you go through life. And this is where personal curriculum works. You know, you're going to go through the phases of what's working for you in Aries energy in this 10 year, and how it's collaborating with your milestones and actually finding out if what you're doing is actually working for you. So we want to work on that. And this 10 year, you're going to actually come up with your thesis statement for the next decade. You're going to constantly be refining that thesis statement for a very long time. Your mission statement and what you stand for is going to be what you're going to have to focus on for a long time as well. That refinement process is going to be like how you actually maneuver through your personal curriculum. And if it's actually working for you, you'll know exactly what you need to do to continue to refine it. So your personal year is going to be what kind of like helps you stay on course with your mission statement, because it's going to be in alignment. You're naturally going through these events, and the life cycle of each phase that you're in is going to have a middle, a beginning, and an end. And most times when we think we're in the middle, it's like right before we get to that next stage, and you kind of got to go back and look at the report. I am a person who's going to tell you never to niche down, but you need to have feedback from everything you're doing. So I've been noticing that I've come to understand that ambition and goal setting are two different things. And having ambition and wanting to execute goals but not having a plan defeats the purpose of being ambitious. And I had to learn that through my shadow work journey, through goal setting and switching careers and specifying what type of specialty I have and all these things. So when you want to have ambition and you have the intention to move forward, you need to know what natural energy you embody. And knowing me, I am naturally in Scorpio and Sagittarius energy. And that means that Pluto, Mars, and Jupiter are all through everything that I do. So with that being said, you want to make sure that the element that you're utilizing is coincide with what you naturally embody. So transformation and the backstory that you have as your uh, personal year is going to help you know exactly what part of your life you're going to alter and what phase you're in. So I have in the hidden dialogue, the unconscious agreements are the overfunctioning archetypes that we embody to get through certain seasons. And that part of us, we don't know until we're faced with obstacles and challenges and resistance. So we're constantly going through that self improvement development on a daily basis. So once you notice, there's three categories that you're going to have to specify what you want to involve in and work on simultaneously. You'll be working on all of them at the same time, but consciously you'll be working on one of them. And that being the three categories are career, personal improvements, and your future collaborations. So, what I wanted to specify right now is the keywords for, um, 2026 is DNA and your birth chart. Those are the two things that I want to focus on for 2026. You're going to be reinventing yourself constantly. You're going to be innovating constantly. You're going to be leading constantly. So this is the root of Aries energy, is reinventing, commitment, and impact. What do you want to be contributing to? And what level are you looking to reach when you contribute to any of the things that you're going for? So as I prepared to get online, I took about 15 days. I could have got on here on January 1st, but there's so many areas of life that you can focus on. And in 2026, we're becoming our own standard. We're working on what the standard is for us and how you measure success and what success looks like to you. What do you associate with success? These are things that no one else can answer for you. And the more that you go through your birth chart and you find out what your DNA signature is, and you find out exactly how you want to reinvent yourself, this isn't always going to be a rebrand because you're going to be working on what you already embody. So, focusing on the evolution of your archetype is going to be the necessary steps to take in 2026. So, becoming a standard and making sure that you're working on these things are going to be your personal curriculum. So, as I have disclosed before, the first house is what we're going through right now because it's a 1 year, but we're working on Capricorn energy. And with that on a birth chart, that is a square aspect. Your 10th house in the first house, a square aspect. So the tension, the tension that you have between your goals is going to be your self-development and how you go through crisis in your life. So the life cycle of each phase that you go through is going to help you become aware of who you are, what overfunctioning archetypes are kind of making you navigate your journey in this specific way. We want to tackle that. We want to improve that. And sometimes you can't really change who you are. You can just improve how you navigate through your life. So I want to focus on giving that kind of like an edit phase. You're going to constantly be reinventing that aspect of yourself. Personal curriculum is key. So let's start off with the identity of 2026. I was looking into a couple of things. So we have storytelling that is going to be very popular. We have the analog of how you perform your content is going to be going on. And I think that there's more to the story than just what's the outside noise. Your personal your personal point of view, your personal awareness, how you've been overcoming your challenges are going to help society. So you becoming your niche is the highlight of what the Empress Empire is like. You are going to be having a constant lifestyle edit. You're going to be going through these reinventing phases and seasons on your own. You're going to be able to name your errors as you did in the past. So the shadow work is what you did yesterday. The foundation that you set today is going to help you stay onto what your why is. It's going to keep you connected to the goal. There's a lot of things that you can use with that. I mean, through your birth chart, that's going to be highlighting everything. So let's talk about. We have a new moon on the 18th of January. I just want to highlight a few things going past that. So I have my notes here. So give me a second. So right now we have on the 18th of January, we have a new moon in Capricorn. On February 17th, we have a new moon in Aquarius. That's the solar eclipse. But let's just take it back. We have Capricorn at 28 degrees on the 18th, where we're going to be focusing on the objectives. And as I stated, we are already working on a functioning archetype, where if you start to focus on who's presenting itself as your representative when you go through life, that over functioning archetype is going to help you understand exactly what part of the new moon you're going to be improving on. So the objective of the month, the objective for January is to plant the seed. You are working on planting the seed right now. And the objective is usually at the top of the manual. What are you trying to overcome? What's your goals? What do you want to achieve, right? So these are the things that we're going to be focusing on from the beginning. So the life phase, the life cycle that we're approaching is the beginning, right? So we have that at 28 degrees on January 18th. And then in February, we have a new moon in Aquarius at 17 on the 17th of February, and it's at 28 degrees as well. And that is preparing for unseen tales that you have not even seen yet. But you can kind of like anticipate what's likely to happen based on the information that you have right now. So we're going through a lot of changes, but then the societal structure, everything is changing, right? But the potential that we have is going to be based on what to see manifest. So we are utilizing our own energy to kind of execute these things. Remember, the objective is going to help you navigate your mission statement. So making your mission statement align with what's already happening in your personal year and outside in the outside the transit. So we're working on the background consciousness, which is what I call the transits. So in February 17th, we have a solar eclipse. On March 19th, we actually have a new moon in Pisces, and that is also at 28 degrees. So we're working with the last degrees of each month, and we're actually preparing for how to execute becoming a master in what we're actually doing. So we're kind of further than we think. We're just still in the developmental stages of actually becoming that person. So let's talk about how it looks when you are going through the zodiac degrees, which is what I'm kind of working on, which is the hue degree theory. I have not disclosed this outside, but this is something that I am going through and dissecting. So when you go through the degrees of astrology, there are 0 to 30. 0 is the potent energy, rawest form, the chaotic representative of a zodiac sign. It's 0 degrees and it's untamed. The 30-degree mark and the degrees approaching the 30-degree mark is matured energy, where you have gone through the ebbs and flow of the degree, and you're making sure that you've paid attention to the report that you've given yourself interacting and navigating that house. And what that looks like is going to be what you give back as the maturity. When people interact with the maturity of that degree, whether it's the persona or the energy itself, you are going to be able to see exactly what you're going to be approaching and what you're going to need to go through the next sign. So as I stated in the beginning, the dodecahedron is a 12-sided figure. And each one of those figures, each one of those sides is going to be representing a frequency, a house, an energy, a modality, and such things. And I'm giving that as a synopsis, but when you look into the workshop that we're preparing and you look at the hidden dialogue, there's a representation in each house. The hidden dialogue is the type itself. So that's represent a modality, which is going to be one of the energies, a cardinal sign, a fixed sign, a mutable sign. So there's 4 archetypes, which is 4 zodiac signs per modality. And there's 3 of them. So you have already that set up. So each house in the dodecahedron is going to represent one of those modalities. And with that being said, you have a bit of a destruction cycle through each phase, and you're going to constantly be reinventing yourself throughout the year. So as I said, one of your personal years that we have each year for you is going to represent a house. So right now I am currently going through my 9th house. Last year I was going through my 8th house, which was a lot of intimacy, a lot of intimate conversations, and a lot of things that I had to be upfront about. And now that we're working with the 9th house, we're working with Sagittarius energy, which is Jupiter again. So I'm expanding a lot of what I've learned in the 8th year. And now I'm working on like preparing that to deliver to other people and show what I've learned through my experience. So that's pretty much what this is going to look like for all of us. But we're all going to be giving different variations of innovating the experience of our being, the human life. So the degree theory that I just said a little while ago, when you work through mature degrees, which is the 28 degrees, it's going to help you start the new cycle. So in Aries energy, which is Aries season, the new moon on April 17th is going to be at 27 degrees. We're almost out of it. But it's like, this is like when it goes back a degree and then it hits another degree, which is also mature degree. You are going to be showing exactly what you learned from the previous degrees. And that is the best work because you're starting off knowing what you actually have as resources to go to the next level. So in astrology, I like to use the sun sign as the self promoter. You know that moment where you're actually kind of like secure with yourself and what you've actually grown to know about who you are? And you're like, okay, I think that like I've learned enough on this level. It's time to level up. That is who your sun sign is. Like when you know exactly who you are in that moment or in that phase of your journey, your sun sign says you're able to go to the next level. That persona that becomes aware of itself is the well kept version, the master, the representative that you actually become is the matured version of that placement in your chart. So your sun sign is like the self promoter that says, okay, this person has like built itself up to this mature state and awareness and state of consciousness is able to go to the next level. So that phase that you're entering into is going to be at its state, at its standard, and you now can go back to that house, see what you experience and how it impacts your journey to go to the next level. So that's how I'm starting to think of going through each quarter, each moon of each quarter, and actually closing out the year. So actually think about this year being like who you are. Next year is going to be what resources do you have, because it's going to be a 2 year. So working with Capricorn energy for the 10 year that we have in this Aries energy, you're working with cardinal energy itself. So let's look at the modalities that are cardinal energies. We have the Aries, Libra. We have Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So that's the first house, the fourth house, the seventh house, and the 10th house. So as I stated, the Aries energy is the first house. Capricorn energy is the 10th house. So on the zodiac wheel, you actually have that looking like an L, which is backwards. And you have it as a square aspect. And that itself is tension. Why would our self and our career ever have tension if it's not our experiences that kind of limit us in our perception of success? And that alone is what I have to kind of dissect through the imprinted empire and that creative aspect that you have to build in order to get through your goals, your preparations for any cycle, your journey itself. The human experience is going to be evolved, and how you interact with that experience alone is going to help you build your life. The skills that you need to go through each phase is going to help you develop for the second year that we have going on next year, the year of resources. So outside of knowing what you have today, Aries energy is going to constantly show you what you need to have next time. And how you expect to go through these experiences is going to be transformed. And we have a new moon in Aries, April 17th. So with that being said, we actually are going to reimagine the experience before we even approach. So we got the chance to see what it looks like in the future. And now we're in the past we're in the past trying to figure out exactly what we need in order to ride that wave in the future. So that's what the imprinted empire is all about. We have to find out what the hidden dialogue is that we're working with. And then you want to make sure that what we're approaching matches and aligns so you can swiftly move through the energy. So I am the CEO and founder of the Imprinted Empire. My name is 𝐿𝒳𝒮𝒩, and I am helping you guys kind of prepare on planting the seeds right now. And we want to maneuver through any obstacles that we have with intention. You're going to face the obstacles no matter what it looks like. It's going to happen. You cannot avoid it. So understanding that potential destruction is in your future, you want to be able to maneuver through with your skill set and understand your emotions and build off innovation. So now I wanted to start with innovation, honestly. This may be a little long by live, but it'll do. So let's talk about the innovation aspect of what 2026 is going to give us. So the best thing that you could do is focus on the things that people aren't doing. Whatever people aren't doing is what you need to do. I was just talking to someone recently. They were saying that they need to get back into welding. And I thought to myself, there's not many people that are doing things that are like welding. We need plumbers, we need electricians, we need welders, we need people who do woodwork. We need all of those things. And these are areas of life where there's less saturation. There's a demand, and people don't really know they need that demand. So a lot of those things could be ventured off into interior design and architecture. We need those. There's several different ways things can be built in the future, and the resources that you build and the frameworks that we have are going to be needing architecture works. Architecture is going to be Aquarius, Sagittarius, and Capricorn energy. We need those. And all of those lead to interior design. which that's going to be the future of innovation, is interior design. The ambiance of the experience is going to be what is needed. Feng Shui is a part of that industry. So you can take a plethora of areas of life to execute. So innovation is going to be what we're going to be working with. You already have the foundation because society has already been built. There's plenty of areas where we can innovate. The best way to innovate is built on what's already being there, like what's already being provided. You have to be the one to um, improve what's already there. You have to be the one to design the framework based on the resources you're already provided. So there's resources, there's research, there's instructions, there's manuals, templates already made for you. Build upon that. What's not being met? The companies that we have right now are already providing and targeting their target audience. And there's people that fall in the gaps of that company's demand, and some people aren't getting their needs met. So you need to find out what is the concerns of that community and provide resources for those pieces. That's the best way to innovate. Some people are not looking to provide resources for specific people in that industry. They want the demand, they want to focus on the demand, but whatever is being offered is probably their golden ticket. But what isn't being offered is the gap to fill, and that's where your money is at. That's your sweet spot. So we have a couple of months before April to prepare for the quarter two. So let's see what I can come up with. Oh, that's what I was coming for. Aries energy is building one's self concept. So the way that you think about yourself and your mission statement going through this 10 year is going to be focused on the self and your self concept, your self actualization is going to help you build your relationship with your audience, build your relationship with your ideal client, build your relationship with who you want to embody for the years to come. So let's get into your peers, your family, and the identity that you have going through this square aspect of the first and 10th house. So in astrology, I kind of used a lot of who you are to help you build your mission statement. You'll always find out the your dysfunction through what you tolerate and what you come aware of that is your unconscious agreements. The unconscious agreement that you actually have right now is going to help you focus on exactly who you're shaping yourself to be. Exactly. Who you agree to be in the seasons of preparation to achieving your goal, to highlight what kind of lifestyles you are embodying. And that is kind of like built in hindsight. And we don't really notice that until we're halfway through the journey. And then we have to refine ourselves and that's what retrogrades are for. Honest to God, I was really looking at astrology in this way for a plethora of months, and I sat back and I said, "Well, if we're constantly preparing for a season that we haven't approached yet, that means that we're unconsciously agreeing to archetypes to get through the season, and we really don't resonate with these people that we become." As we are going through the seasons and maneuvering through the challenges, we become the people each season due to the experiences that we have, which are the background consciousness, which is the transits. So, as we're constantly reevaluating ourselves, and the self-conscious becomes the I am statement. I am this person because I experienced this. This experience led me to this person that I've become. And that which in reality cannot be changed because we're constantly going through it. We have to instinctively act on this person we are embodying based on what we understand our potential to be until we reach the resources we want to have. So I've been deep diving into the identity aspect, navigate what is in you each time you need to be creative. So let's talk about creativity and innovation. So the innovative aspect of creation is how are you going to build your resources? What resources do you need in this season to get you to the next season. And the skill set that you need to embody is going to be the requirement that you need in order to innovate. So I was thinking about how many people do you want to relate to when it comes to your target audience. There's different versions of your target audience. Your ideal client has several phases that your brand, your company, or your resources are going to provide for. Are you providing for your ideal client in the beginning stages, middle stages, the mastery stage? You need to know that before you actually provide any services. So that point alone is going to help you identify in these four houses of the modalities for the cardinal signs. Are you providing for the self? Are you providing for their foundation? Are you providing for their collaborations? Are you providing for their professionalism? And those are the four houses: the first, the sixth, the fourth, the seventh, and the 10th. And identity itself is rooted in cardinal signs. The cardinal signs are going to move first. The cardinal signs are going to show us exactly what we need to embody in order to get the resources we need. It's the first house going into the second house. So that is we're prepared, like the cardinal energies are preparing for the resources that they actually have. They have to go out to get the skill set. You know what I'm trying to say? So, that inner dialogue is going to help us reinvent ourselves because we have to actively participate with the obstacles. We have to actively participate with resistance. So, how you become more aware of yourself is initiating how you're going to deal with resistance. And resistance itself is the fluctuation of energies, the fluctuation of your mood, the fluctuation of your resources. And the best part about what we have is we're working with our instincts. You have to instinctively plan and anticipate what you're going to experience before you get there. And that's like the best way to go through Aries energy because, yes, Aries energy is impulsive, but because we're working with Capricorn energy in hindsight, we have to take our time. Like Capricorn energy is ruled in time, the chronological order of time, the chronological structure of time, and the phases of time. So Aries energy is constantly going through those time aspects in a sequence. So once you are looking at Capricorn energy as a whole, it's rooted in discipline. So you have to physically go through each phase in its entirety before you go to the next level. And each one of those phases are going to require you overcome a test. And that's where the unconscious agreement that you have to commit to in order to go through each phase is what is like going to be rooted and what you're actually going to be preparing for. So who you are is going to be what you get shaped into. And those experiences shape who you are, right? So transitioning through transformation is like why I look at the sun sign as like the self promoter. If you want to be connected to your experiences, you're going to have to need your moon sign to help you do that. So if your moon sign is in one of the three modalities, you're going to have to represent that archetype, and that archetype is going to be the one who is connected to um, your goals and your mission. So your mission statement is going to be rooted in your moon sign's ideal perspective. Like your moon sign is going to help you have a connection to your mission statement. That's your why. That's connected to what reason you have behind your motivation. And that's where I mentioned ambition and goal setting are two different things. Your moon sign is going to be completely rooted in what you are connected to. You have to actually say, like, I'm going to commit to this because I care about this. This is where your care and your emotional attachment is the connection that you have to your efforts. So you want to pick something you really do care about because you're going to have to commit. And that's where doing things you really don't want to do is not Aries energy. Aries does not do anything they really don't want to do. And if what you don't want to do is really connected to your goal, that means that you have to commit. You have to intentionally commit to what you want to do. And that is going to require self dedication. And you want to understand that your rulership in your birth chart is going to help you get there. And that's supposed to be your driving force behind Aries energy, right? Um, so highlighting, highlighting the social hierarchy. What level of your industry do you reach? How do you measure success? These areas of life is where I'm kind of helping you guys uh, pinpoint. It's kind of like this is a part of like shallowness that we have to address. And it's not really rooted in shallowness. However, this shallowness is necessary to understand who you are and why you strive for the things that you strive for. And these areas is what helps us navigate what we want to do. So in this aspect, in the segment of the hidden dialogue, is the mindset. This social hierarchy is going to be where your mindset is, right? Um, we already said that the sun is the self promoter. We have the 3M theory, which is a 3M placement, which is your moon, your Mars, and your midheaven. And your midheaven is abbreviated to be your MC. So we're going to just use MC instead of continuously saying midheaven. So the midheaven is ruled by the 10th house, and that is your public image. Your Mars sign is your assertiveness, and the sign that you have as your Mars sign is your way that you assert your energy. Your moon sign is the first M. So as I stated, your moon sign is how you connect to your goals in future collaborations. Your Mars sign is going to be how you operate through your framework. And then your midheaven MC is going to be how you present yourself professionally. So these areas of social hierarchy, I mean, this the actual social hierarchy concept is going to be dissected through those three places that I just stated. So the last M that is not really a part of the the 3M theory is going to be your Mercury placement. But your Mercury placement is how you communicate yourself through your experiences, but that is how you lead the 3M theory. So you have to understand exactly what you're unconsciously agreeing to, which is connected to your Mercury placement. So whatever modality your Mercury placement is, you want to look at that, and you want to look at the degree, and you want to then pay attention to the rulership of that house. So the planet that rules your placement for your Mercury, like the actual planet that rules the sign in your Mercury house, is going to be what makes you kind of like delegate what era you're entering, what era you're coming from. Because this is how you socially interact with your environment. So the themes that you experience from your Mercury placement is going to help you navigate the 3M theory. So now that we've got through that, the imprinted empire is going to help you understand why hidden dialogues are necessary to pay attention to. And the season that we're working with is what do you contribute to society? The contribution to society is necessary because we all need it. So as I stated, we need people who are not doing what others are doing. So if you see somebody going through an industry that you want to go into, you need to find out what they're learning. You need to do research to understand where you fit. And that's where honesty comes in with who you want to become. And then your birth chart will help you navigate why you're attached, why you're connected, why you want to become a master in the industry that you're wanting to pursue. So you want to align your goals with who you are, so it's easy to maneuver through your milestones. And when you are approached with obstacles or the resources that are challenging to you, you can plan to contribute with ease based on your placements. So um, let's just wrap this up now because I kind of got through innovation, identity, and transitioning through transformation of the life cycle. That was the root of this slide. I wanted to make you focused on why your expertise and the knowledge that you have in your industry is going to help you navigate each one of your transformations. So the phases of the life cycle is the beginning, middle, and end. We usually believe that we're always in the middle of of a phase because we're not doing the report of what we just experienced. So journaling will help you do that. visual journaling will do that. I switched from doing written journaling to visual journaling so I can work on public speaking, and that was another goal for me. So why you started to make these little changes towards your journey is going to help you become relatable to other people, because then you get to specify exactly why these changes helped you in your skill set and the way you set up your mindset to combat expectations. So thank you for your time. I'll see you guys later.